Alright guys, I'm ripping the band-aid off. I hit something big this episode, but unfortunately, I was not recording or streaming it. That was a big lesson learned. But wait until the end of the video to see the absolute massive gains and exactly what I hit that is so essential, especially for dual blade. I also wanted to start this video off by giving a massive thanks to everyone. I was blown away by the support from episode 1, and I'm definitely going to continue these types of videos as long as I can. Seriously, thank you all so much for the support. The subs, the comments, the likes. Every single time I got a notification of an interaction on the video, I genuinely felt elated. Those of you who stopped by Twitch, thank you so much for hanging out this week. And to the one dude who whispered me in Reboot, that was really funny and it made my day. This week, my focus was clearing Chaos Rudibus, continuing Commercy to try and get Sweetwater Katara spares and Daenerys for mid-game, clearing Princess No Prequest and Princess No, and beginning my Scrapyard Dark World Tree weeklies, all while doing my typical dailies. I took into account some comments from the last video and from discussions on Discord, and decided that given the new boss changes, yes, I will allow myself to join struggles and duos with someone near my stat. If I'm doing my part, then I'm good and I'll get a crystal. I'll give more details on what I achieved, but for those of you leveling a character alongside me, I will say once you're around 6 to 7k stat, you should have no issue getting your 5% and finding a party. I've been checking Party Finder this week, and I've had no issues finding Chaos Rudibus parties. And if all else fails, you can form a party of your own in Party Finder, and should have a party fairly quickly. Without further ado, let's recap this week's gains on our dual blade and how the week went. To start off this week, I decided to do the Princess No Prequest. For those of you that have never done this before, it is a very long quest line, but is pretty important because you can get the Kana's Ring drop. Kana's Ring is a level 140 ring, and it is not only good because it can be Star Forced, but it can be transferred to superior Galax rings. All in all, this took me about 35 minutes. As you can see, I was watching my friends play League in the corner, but you do have to do it for every character. It's not shared. But I got it done, and it's out of the way. Next up, I paired with my friend Tommy to try and clear Chaos Crimson Queen. We went in there, looked at our damage, and decided that yes, we can clear it in the time limit. But unfortunately, we were just a little bit too reckless and didn't do some of the mechanics very well. Additionally, there were no buff freezers in the shop because this was earlier in the week before the buff freezer change, so we couldn't go in fully buffed with guild skills, things like that. So we did learn a lot from this, and we do implement this in a later run that I'll go over so that you guys can have successful duos. I just wanted to include this to show you that it has not been nothing but easy riding and success. There have been quite a few failures on my end. This next part was absolute pure luck. Normal Arcarium, let's go get a Dom pendant really quick.
Oh shit! Let's fucking go!
Yeah, virtually no drop rate Dom pendant was definitely a highlight of the week for me. I did remember that I also needed the badge from Magnus, so that was next on my list. The only way this gets better is if I go clear normal Magnus and get a badge. Yeah, my luck for boss drops that day was awesome. We made some good gains for day 1. I paired with Tommy for a run back against Chaos Crimson Queen. Some things we did different was making sure that we have proper links, Legion, everything else that we would need for this fight. The important things that we did here was we stacked up for the Flame Breath. As you can see, we're standing together and tanking Flame Breath, which clears the Flame Dot, which is very important for her other phases so that you can survive. Next was her Charm phase. Most importantly, you need to make sure to break the mirror every time it spawns. As far as the hearts, you can either hit them or jump on them and then jump away. They'll explode and miss you. Next is her Damage Reflect phase. The red bubble is her Damage Reflect icon, so don't hit her. When it's down, you can hit her. When you see the skull above your head, it means you are cursed, and any potions will damage you instead of healing. Lastly, you have what I call the suck phase. All she does is try to suck you into a hole in the ground and suck you into her. I actually don't know how you die to this phase, I've never died to it. Just jump away from her and play safe and wait for the next phase. This struggle took us about 6 minutes. Honestly, I'm really enjoying struggling these bosses, reliving mechanics that I had completely forgotten or never learned in the first place. It was a lot of fun. Knowing we could defeat Chaos Crimson Queen, we decided to fight Chaos Von Bon. Now this fight is pretty straightforward. Right there, you see that he sends out a white attack that you can actually jump over or duck underneath. The next attack that he will do is hit you with his staff if you are close enough, which will stun you. And the last main attack that he does is he jumps up in the air and stomps on the ground. If you are on the ground in any way when he lands, you'll immediately be killed. The other main mechanic of this fight is you want to make sure to hit him in the hands that are going backwards when he's standing there. That adds time to allow you to defeat him. If you hit him on the white clock where the hands are going forward, you lose time and you risk running out of time. Every so often, Von Bon will jump in the air and you will see this message in the middle top of the screen. You have until that timer ends to go in the portal, in this case Tommy went in, and kill the clone. Once the clone is dead, it'll say that the time collapse failed or whatever it says, and you will be teleported out. Von Bon will be vulnerable for about 1 or 2 seconds. His final mechanic is when he's low health, he'll begin jumping in the air with wings and creating a tornado around him. The tornado makes it impossible to get near him as you'll be knocked back and meteors will begin to fall from the sky similar to Magnus. Avoid the meteors, don't get knocked back, hit Von Bon, win the fight. Easy peasy. I started day 2 by unlocking my latch symbol since I had hit level 220 from grinding. If this is your first character at this level, you will not be able to skip the quests and you will have to do them. Keep that in mind. Immediately after, I partnered with Tommy for our salty Chaos Vellum runback. Now, the main things to keep in mind here are to keep an eye for the red dots on the ground. They show you where the rocks are going to fall, and they're arguably the most dangerous part. The tails can be dodged by jumping around, but if you jump into a rock, it's certain death. When he comes up to breathe fire or do lightning, those are your chances to get some damage in. The other main mechanic that Vellum will start doing is where it'll say he's taking a deep breath with a message in the middle. If you do not make it to his side, you will be immediately killed unless you have some sort of iframe and your iframe lasts long enough. Here's how I cheat this. If your class has any sort of debuff or any sort of status indicator that goes above his head, go to one side, whichever one is closest to you, just enough that you can see that side on your screen. Once you can see that side, look at the floor. Do you see the indicators for the debuff that should be on him? If yes, stay on that side. If not, rush to the other side. You're at the wrong side. This struggle duo was definitely a trial of patience. It took us over 15 minutes. Now keep in mind, if you and your duo are both a 3-minute burst class, meaning your main burst skills are 3-minute cooldowns, and you do your first burst, and together you are able to do 16%, you are easily able to clear within the 20-minute time if you bind and burst on cooldown. You don't have to play risky. If it's lower than that, you do have to make sure you're doing DPS in between your bursts. Just keep that in mind and play accordingly. Day 3 was patch day. That consisted of the buff freezer changes, the boss crystal changes, all sorts of quality of life stuff. I wanted to include this section to show that someone at my point of progression can get drops and can get their clear from a party finder party. Now that Vellum party was a bit closer to a carry, I guess. Those characters were pretty strong and I didn't really realize it. It was titled CVel Struggle, so the more you know. This one was a trio that I recruited and everyone was pretty close in gear. It was touch and go, but we ended up getting a big burst on Pierre with an opposite hat at the end, and we were able to find the clear. Now that I didn't have to worry about buff freezers, I was able to go in and try my hand at soloing Chaos Crimson Queen, as well as Chaos Von Bon afterwards. I was very happy with the gains that I had been making and the progression that I have at this point. Now, part of that is due to not needing buff freezers or anything like that anymore and being able to go in fully buffed. But my final times for my Chaos Queen solo was about 8 minutes, and my Chaos Von Bon solo was about 6 minutes. And I'm very happy with that. The last thing I did this week was doing Princess No in an attempt to get a ring. The parts I want to show off are the ways that I beat Moroku and Princess No herself. Moroku, I just kind of stayed beneath him to avoid getting trapped by his fog and having to sit there for a couple seconds. It was pretty straightforward. It was really cheap, but I don't care. When it comes to Princess No, I found standing on this platform right here lets you avoid pretty much all of her damaging attacks. If she does snare you, you can click on the portal to go to the last room and then just go right back in. I feel like she could tell that I was being cheap, though, because I did not get a ring. And this is where we are now. I'm sitting at 8.1k stat. These are my nodes. And I hit buff skill duration and her ability. It's not best in slot, but it does help with final cut, so I'm just going to keep it for now until there's a half off inner ability reroll. Or until I get a ridiculous amount of points to reroll. Now let's take a look at my gear, and this is where things are going to get really interesting. So, as you can see, I've got a couple different things going for me, like my Greed Pendant, which I'm going to try to get to Legendary for Meso and Drop Gear. I've been working on getting more of the hard Von Leon drops. When you have, I want to say it's 9 of them, you can trade them in for a ring that is potable and starable, so that's what I want. I want another potable ring. Nothing too crazy on my stuff. I still don't have potential on my Treasure Hunter John's ring. A lot of this stuff is kind of the same as it was last week. Just small gains here and there. My Dom pendant that I'm still super thankful for hitting. I should try to take it to 6% luck. Still have my shoes. I hit some pretty good flames on my top and hat, but we're gonna get to the hat at the end. Some of you may know where this is going. We've got 6% luck, 6% luck. I got this to unique with 9% attack, 6% all stat. I just settled for now because I don't have a ton of mesos. Let's see. Secondary, that's ready for Fafnir transferring. And then from there, I think I might try to transpose it to Sweetwater instead of just going with a raw Sweetwater. And my cape. All right, here's the part you've been waiting for. It's the hat. Some of you might be able to guess what it might have. Basically what happened was it was the evening and I was finishing up for the day, just doing dailies and things like that. It wasn't anything crazy. I wasn't trying to have any sort of crazy cubing session with a whole bunch of cubes, but I had hit legendary on my hat earlier that day and I was like, let's try to roll for skill cooldown. Skill cooldown is very, very important for dual blade. And I'm still kicking myself for not recording when this happened. Yeah, skill cooldown, -2 second, double line. Holy crap. This makes 2 of my 5th job skills under 10 seconds. This is amazing. I think I have to take this character farther than Normal Lomian just because of this hat. So yeah, those are my gains for the week. Next week, my big focus is going to be on getting enough points for the bottom and trying to get my Fafnir weapon. I'm 2 away from a Fafnir weapon, and I think I'm 1 piece away from the bottom. I let the guy from Party Finder take all the extras, and I insisted that he take them because I thought I had enough for the bottom. As you can see, I didn't. Anyways, that's where my focus is going to be this coming week. Again, thank you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe, share the video with a friend that you think could use the video or would enjoy it, or just show love however you do. I really appreciate you guys, and I look forward to sharing this journey with you. I'll see you in the next one.